So after doing the initial camera animation, we need to make sure this also loops. And the way this works is we have to put everything into a new null object. Let's call this main section. So that includes our spline wrap setup and the actual spline involved in that needs to be part of this. There is a stray cloner here that shouldn't be there. Let's remove that. And even these guides and random effector should be part of this main section setup. Then we want to take this whole section and place it inside of a cloner. So just throw that in there. And the mode is going to be grid array, that's fine. We want 1 in the X direction and 3 in the Z direction. And the spacing for that is going to be 20,000. So that number is coming up again. What this means is that all of these are going to line up edge to edge. Like you see here, there is a bit of a gap in between which we can address shortly, but it means that at frame 0, or I guess in our case frame 1, when the camera corrects itself, what the camera is seeing at this point, if I look through it, this right here, is going to be the same as what the camera sees when it gets to the end of the animation, because this section here is a direct clone of the first section. So that's how the looping works. And just to play this back at least once, we are going to start at frame 1 and ignore frame 0. So starting from here, let's click play. We can jump over closer to the end here, and when it reaches this point, it's going to jump back to the beginning and loop. Now the only hitch there was just to do with the processing Cinema 4D does when you restart the animation, but if this were rendered out at full speed, that loop there would be more seamless. So overall, we know the looping is going to work, but we also have this issue here where there is a gap in between the clones. We need to close that up a bit more there. The way to do this is by, let's just disable the cloner for now. We need to make a copy of the helix wrap. This is going to be helix wrap large. It's going to be a longer version of the spline we started with. It's going to be twice as long at 40,000 centimeters, which means the angle also needs to be double to maintain the same kind of swirling shape. So it's the same, it's just it extends beyond this initial point and continues that way. And also the number of subdivisions should be double just to make up for the longer shape. Then we can go to our spline wrap and switch it for this new longer one. So drop that in here. Now that makes it too long, so we need to go to the spline wrap and change a few things. We could either just lower the 2 point. Right now it's running along 100% of this whole spline. So we can bring it back to 50%. That would be the same as the same position it was going up to before. So if I turn the cloner back on and then go to the spline wrap, I can change the 2 value once again, just go beyond 50% slightly. And as I start to do that, it's going to close up that gap that we were seeing between one clone and the next. So from a distance, it looks like we could close that up just a bit more, maybe about 54%. We could have also changed it to keep the original length. Now this means we have to bring this closer to 100% again. The original length refers to how long our initial connect section was, and it was close to about 20,000, except it was just a bit longer actually. So that on 100% is also going to do the job, because it was actually slightly longer than 20,000. So anyway, 2 ways to skin a cat, as they say. And we have just seen that here. I'm gonna use the other method and go to about 54%. So when I jump through the camera again and we get to that section, you see it remains nice and closed up all the way through.